A daughter's love for her father became the reason for her death. In July 2016, British woman Samia Shahid returned to Pakistan after a desperate plea from her family. Before boarding her flight, she whispered chilling words to her friends, "Pray that I return alive." Days later, she was dead, her body buried in haste. Her father claimed it was an accident. Police found nothing, but the bruises on her neck told a very different story. So what really happened to Samia? Did she already know she was walking into her own death? Samia Shahid was born on November 15, 1987, in the bustling city of Bradford, England. Bradford is known for its cultural diversity, and like many second-generation children of immigrants, Samia grew up balancing two very different worlds. At home, she lived under the values of her Pakistani heritage: respect for family, strict traditions, and obedience to elders. Outside, in the streets of Bradford, she lived like any other British girl, laughing with friends, working part-time at the post office, and dreaming of a life filled with freedom. She was cheerful, full of life, and everyone who knew her described her as always smiling. But behind the smiles, there was a girl who rarely felt free. Her father, Chaudhry Muhammad, was the center of her world. She loved him deeply. His word was law, and she would do anything for him. But this love came with a price. Samia often hid her own desires, burying them under the weight of family expectations. By the age of 25, Samia's parents decided it was time for her to settle down. Like many families in their community, they believed in arranged marriages. And so in 2012, they presented her with a husband, Shakil, her cousin from the family's village in Pakistan. On paper, it made sense. For the family, this marriage was a way to strengthen bonds and preserve land ownership. But for Samia, it was a nightmare. Shakil had a troubling past. He had spent time in prison for shooting another man in a land dispute. More importantly, Samia never saw him as a husband. She had grown up treating him as a brother. But refusing wasn't an option. For Samia, family approval meant everything. She wanted her parents to be proud, and so she agreed. When she flew to Pakistan for the wedding, she messaged a friend, calling it the biggest mistake of my life. The lavish ceremony in February 2012 was attended by hundreds. Dressed in magnificent clothes and jewelry her father bought her, Samia played the role of a happy bride. But deep down, she felt trapped. After the wedding, Samia and Shakil moved into a house next to his family's home in the village. For 4 months, she lived in Pakistan as his wife. But she hated every moment. She returned to the UK later that year, supposedly to apply for her husband's visa. But back in Bradford, her friends noticed a change. She was nervous, distant, and often depressed. Shakil, though thousands of miles away, kept her under constant surveillance. He demanded daily video calls, tracked her movements, and never let her feel free. In August, Samia broke down and confessed to a friend, "I want to die. I hate my life. I can't be his wife anymore." But then everything changed. In 2013, Samia met a man named Syed Mukhtar Kazim, known as Ali. They first connected online, then met in person in London. From the very beginning, there was a spark, something she had never felt with Shakil. Ali was kind, loving, and understanding. He respected her, something she had long craved. With him, Samia saw a future, a life filled with happiness, children, and freedom. But falling in love, while tied to another man, came with risks, especially in a family where honor was everything. Still, Samia made her choice. She wanted to be with Ali. In 2014, Samia asked Shakil for a divorce. He refused. But under Sharia law, if a marriage was entered under coercion, it could be annulled. Samia went to the Islamic Sharia Council in the UK, testified that her marriage to Shakil was forced, and her divorce was granted. She converted from Sunni to Shia Islam, Ali's faith, and married him in a secret ceremony in Leeds that September. Unlike her first marriage, this time she glowed with happiness. A friend recalled, she felt like a princess. It should have been the beginning of her new life. But freedom came at a cost. Not long after, in October 2014, while walking with her cousin, Samia was attacked by several men in an alley. They beat her legs with metal rods, leaving her covered in bruises. The attack wasn't random, it was a warning. Her secret was out. Samia went to the police, even staging a phone call to her parents while officers listened in. Instead of concern, her mother's voice was filled with insults. For the first time, police heard the toxic environment Samia endured. At home, she felt like a prisoner. Her only escape was her love for Ali. By 2015, her parents knew of her divorce and remarriage. They refused to accept it, calling her relationship with Ali adultery. But Samia didn't back down. With the help of friends, she secretly booked a flight and moved to Dubai to be with her new husband. For the first time, she felt alive. She cooked, she drove, she smiled. Her social media was filled with love and laughter. She longed for children, dreamed of raising them in the UK, and begged her family to accept Ali. But reconciliation never came. To her parents, she had brought shame. In June 2016, tragedy struck. Shakil's mother, Samia's aunt, passed away. Samia was heartbroken, but decided not to travel to Pakistan. The risk was too high. Then came the call. Her sister told her that their father's health was failing, that he might not have long to live. Samia loved her father more than anything. Despite Ali's desperate pleas, she made her decision. She would go back. On July 14, 2016, Samia boarded a plane to Pakistan. Before leaving, she texted a friend one final message: "Pray that I return alive." On July 14, 2016, Samia Shahid landed in Pakistan. She had told her husband Ali that she would only stay a few days, just long enough to visit her father. Then she would return to Dubai. But deep down, Ali was terrified. He had begged her not to go, warning that it was too dangerous. Samia reassured him, promising she would be fine. Yet her last words before boarding the plane, "Pray that I return alive," were still echoing in his mind. At first, everything seemed normal. Samia stayed in touch with Ali constantly, calling and messaging him to assure him she was safe. She even left her passport and return ticket with a friend, just in case something happened. On July 18th, she visited her aunt's grave with her father. On the 19th, she told Ali about a bad dream he had shared with her. She laughed nervously and told him to keep praying for her safe return. But on July 20th, 2016, the messages stopped. Ali's calls went unanswered. His texts were never read. The silence was suffocating. And then, just hours later, police in the village of Pandori received a frantic call. A man reported that his daughter had died. When officers arrived, they found Samia lying at the bottom of a staircase in her father's home. She was motionless, her face covered with a scarf, foam coming from her mouth. Her father, Chaudhry Muhammad, told police she had fallen down the stairs. Some relatives whispered that she had died from an asthma attack. Others claimed it was a heart attack. By that evening, conflicting stories were already spreading. Samia's body was buried the very same day, without delay, without questions. Back in Dubai, Ali received a call from a cousin. The message was blunt. Samia is dead. At first, he didn't believe it. He thought it was a cruel trick to keep her in Pakistan. But when confirmation came, his world collapsed. Ali immediately flew to Pakistan. At the police station, he demanded an investigation. He explained everything. How Samia had divorced Shakil, how she had remarried him, how their family never accepted it. He told them what Samia had feared all along. That her death was not an accident, but an honor killing. His persistence forced the authorities to look closer. When the autopsy report arrived, it shattered the lies. A reddish-brown bruise was found around Samia's neck. The cause of death was listed clearly: strangulation. And there was more. Forensic evidence revealed that Samia had been sexually assaulted shortly before her death. Ali knew exactly what this meant. Samia's first husband, Shakil, had forced himself on her one last time before taking her life. As media attention grew, Pakistani police could no longer ignore the case. Under pressure, they arrested Shakil and Samia's father, Chaudhry Muhammad. In interrogation, Shakil confessed. He admitted he had tried to force Samia to annul her marriage to Ali and stay with him. On the morning of July 20th, enraged by her refusal, he raped her. When she tried to escape, he wrapped her scarf around her neck and strangled her, but he was not alone. Investigators believed that her father held her down while Shakil tightened the scarf. It was a brutal act carried out in the name of family honor. For a moment, it seemed like justice might be possible. But in Pakistan, the system is not kind to women like Samia. Despite Shakil's confession, despite the autopsy, despite Ali's testimony, the case fell apart. In 2018, Shakil was released on bail. Later, he remarried a British Pakistani woman and even applied for a spousal visa to enter the UK. The same man who admitted to killing Samia almost walked free into the life he had once stolen from her. Samia's father also escaped justice. He denied involvement, and with insufficient evidence, the courts released him. Just months later, he died of kidney failure, never held accountable. Samia's mother and sister, who had returned to the UK, faced arrest warrants in Pakistan, but gave a very different version of events. They claimed Samia was unhappy in Dubai, that Ali had mistreated her, and that the accusations had destroyed their family. But nothing could erase the fact: a young woman was dead, strangled, her life stolen. Samia's case became an international scandal. British MP Naz Shah called it what it was: an honor killing, and pressured Pakistani authorities to act. But honor crimes are not rare. Every year, hundreds of women in Pakistan and around the world are murdered by their own families for choosing love, freedom, or simply independence. Their stories often end in silence, buried quickly, forgotten quickly. But Samia's story refused to die. Ali refused to let it die. Through tears, Ali spoke to the press, holding up photos of the bruises around Samia's neck. He demanded the world see what had been done to his wife. He wanted her voice to be heard, even in death. Samia's friends in Bradford also fought for her. They remembered her laughter, her dreams of children, her longing for freedom. They remembered a woman who wanted nothing more than to live her own life. But in the end, the people who should have protected her, her own family, became her executioners. Samia Shahid was just 28 years old when her life ended. She was a daughter, a friend, a wife, a woman who dared to choose love. Her last words still haunt us. Pray that I return alive. She never did. Instead, her story remains a haunting reminder of a question humanity must keep asking. What is worth more? Family honor or a woman's life? Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoy watching, please hit the like button. And if you like watching more thriller and true crime story, make sure you subscribe our channel. See you in the next video.